Hello and welcome to day 2, video 2 of this Lunar mini course. I'm excited to delve into quickly and deeply again with you of the energy of our menstrual cycle, and today we're going to explore the phase 1 of our cycle, and this begins straight after our menstruation ends. So phase 1, and it's called the follicular phase. This is when our menstruation lining, our uterine lining, stops shedding. And a few things happen. We have what happens with our hormones, what happens with our energy, how this correlates with the season. So what season is this in, and how this correlates with the archetype. And then we have how we can harness this with food and herbs and understanding and being in flow and using this particular energy to amplify your outer life. Now I'm going to go through this, it's just an introduction level. It's very epic, very, very epic. It will take you on a long journey spiraling inward. But if you wish to journey deeper into it, the Lunar course does incorporate this. So it incorporates the food and the herbs and the ritual and the meditation each and every phase. So that goes for a whole 6 weeks. And this one's just 5, but this is an epic point of start, especially if you've never delved into this work before. Okay, so phase 1, follicular phase. Let me get my page. Okay, so the follicular phase correlates with the energy of the moon phase that's in the waxing crescent. So this is after the dark moon, where you see no moon in the sky. Suddenly you get a new moon and you see a little waxing crescent. And when it gets about a quarter, this is probably the most typical representation of the waxing crescent and the representation of the follicular phase of our cycle. And the season that it correlates with is spring. So if we're thinking about the energy of the follicular phase, which is what I'm all about and what the menstrual cycle is all about, and life and everything else, yes, so if you're thinking about the energy of the follicular phase and associating it with spring, it makes sense that after we experience the dark moon and the death of our menstruation, we come into this follicular phase, and as we do in spring, we experience rebirth and a birth and a sprouting of life, a life coming back, So follicular phase is waxing moon, spring. What's the next one? Then we have the archetype, which is the maiden. Okay, so maiden is our first major life stage. She is before we become the mother, so our first life stage. And what is the maiden to you? She is, most typically, she's your young self. She's this vibrant new soul emerging, jumping up into life. She is like the little sprouting, like, hello, I'm here, and hello, sunshine, and help me grow, and I want to put everything out into the world, and I'm so excited to be here. I'm so inspired and love and looking at everything and finding everything amazing. So this is the energy of the maiden archetype, and she, usually comes out obviously in that first life stage, but also recurringly in the first phase of our menstrual cycle every month. So the thing is, we can harness these archetypes every month. So we're not just the maiden for that first little bit of life. We experience it over and over again, and we get to play with the different the energies of these different archetypes every single month, and they correlate into this beautiful cycle/circle that helps us birth, execute, give then come back in, prune, and then let what no longer served us in the past month, what we learnt, die. And the cycle begins again, and we birth, give, cut back, and then let all that no longer served die. And the cycle begins again. So that's when we go through the spring, the maiden, and then we go to the next 3 phases, which I'll go into next. And you have a little, hopefully you downloaded it, the little diagram of the 4 phases and the typical energies of these 4 phases and what they're associated with. So in the resources below, I just added a few prompt questions. So I've added in for phase 1, the follicular phase. This is usually a time when many, obviously we all received our first menstruation in this time. And so I think that's really beautiful to be able to feel into and, go back and what was that time like for you? What was that time for you when you were a maiden? How did you feel? And what would you go back and tell your younger maiden self? How does she want you to show up, and how does she want you to express her gifts that every month and every day and every cycle she's trying to show you, she is the new life. So if you've been feeling like lackluster or no inspiration, or there's no ability to see the world with these beautiful young eyes and almost feel like the beautiful fool that is so ready to fly off the ledge, the bird that has just, the young bird that hasn't flown before and is ready to take its first flight. Are you missing this energy in your life? Are you missing this inspired young younger girl that's ready to take on life and is so inspired and has this beautiful ambition growing in her because she's seeing these golden bits of light and she's loving it, she is the new life birthing. So are you missing this in your life? Because this is something we can so easily suppress in ourselves, especially if we weren't supported at that age, especially if our dreams weren't supported and our ideas and inspirations weren't listened to by ourselves and by others and by culture and society, etc. So that's why it's really important to go back to, well, when did I first get my first period? And how did that feel to me? How did everyone else react? How did my mother treat me, what did she hold a beautiful ritual, or was I not really sure what was going on with my body and just kind of kept it under the wraps? So what went on for you there? And from this stage we can start to build the maiden's confidence again. So she has the confidence to feel inspired and young and free and like the fool, she's not scared, she's ambitious, and she's ready to take the leap no matter what. No matter if she falls or flies, she's willing to try because she knows there's a chance to fly. So she's gonna take that leap because she's just this young, inspired self. Okay. So that makes me feel so nice and almost emotional. I really hope that helped in some way, and in your little journal, in your little sacred space or altar that you might have carved out some space for, answer or go through the prompt questions that I've given you below and take some time to just feel into them. Journal them out. Don't even decipher what words coming in, just literally let them flow. And okay, I'm going to show you one more thing. If you have a certain topic, this is a good way of not filtering things. You can draw a big spiral, I'll show you in 1 second, and you write your topic at the top, And then in your spiral, like this, that's your topic up there. Phase 1, feel like your face. How do I feel? You start at the edge of the spiral and you have a particular like prompt question, and just take a few moments to breathe, a few breaths, ask yourself the question, feel into your body, go down into your womb, and then as you ask the question and you start to feel, let the words come out. Really unfiltered, just right. What am I feeling? Maybe it comes out with the word anger. Maybe it comes out with excitement. Maybe it comes out with a weird memory that, you know, might have some shame attached to it. And you get to go around this spiral with your beautiful words, feelings and emotions, whatever comes out, no filter. And you get to go all the way into the center. And you know what happens? You get to go closer to the root of your feelings. So say it brought up a feeling of timidness. So you felt timid and unsure. You know, your first menstruation, that brings up feelings of, oh, like, I don't know, and your body suddenly tightens and things. This spiral will help you uncover them. It will help you go into the root of those feelings. So why did I feel timid and like my body instantly wanted to shut down and close and tighten? What happened to my womb in that moment? So yeah, you get to go around those